Right now, Bitcoin is sitting just below 20,385, which is the last wick high on the daily chart. And this also coincides with the legacy linear scale downward sloping trend line that stems back all the way to 69,000 in November of last year. So we are sitting upon an area where there could be a significant pivot to the upside. Now, this is, of course, coming as a surprise to some, as we've just been told by the news that it's a recession, that we should expect the recession to last a long time. Well, I do agree with that, actually, but that doesn't mean you can't see a recession rally. We discussed this in the last few videos. Be prepared, recession rally, talked about it a day ago. Talked about, October being a possibility and all these kinds of things. And slowly we're starting to see some interesting action. Going to the S&P 500 today, we're up. We've seen a bounce. Go to the weekly chart, you can see the S&P bounced off the 200-week SMA. And so there's a lot of things that I think we need to be ready for. That yes, this is a recession rally so far in the stock market, and we could see some continuation to the upside. This could lead Bitcoin to a breakout, and a couple months of bullish action could follow. But does that mean that we should just become super bullish again and go all in and just hope that we bought the bottom? I don't think so. I think that this recession will last much longer. And as people start to get bullish again on this bounce, that should be a warning symbol. Now, the S&P has just recently bounced. Bitcoin hasn't even broken out yet, so there's room to go up. There's room to get that sort of bullish hype started again. But once we start to see people get too bullish, we need to be skeptical, and we need to be looking for a possible reversal back down to lower levels for the S&P and possibly even Bitcoin. Now, I want to talk about all of the details about this in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson. Today is October 4th, and today we are in the stock market seeing a recession bounce. Could it lead to a full-blown recession rally? I think it's a possibility. I won't be too confident in any sort of bullish case, or I won't be too confident in any sustained bullish upside for longer than a couple of months. I don't think that this recession has really fully played out yet. If you look at previous recessions, and we look at how do we usually interact with the 200-week moving average, which is this bottom line here. Well, in any major recession, we're falling below this moving average. And we're currently at this stage above the 200-week. And in every recession, we at least fall below it for some time, whether that's a month, 2 months, half a year, a whole year. We should probably be looking for some kind of dip below the 200-week. Now, what I think is likely to occur right now for the S&P is that we could see a bounce, we could see some continuation up, and we could see the experts come on the news and say, I think this idea of a recession was totally overblown. I think we're in a recovery, and then a big dip later on, because that's what always happens. Whenever there's a bounce, they'll bring people on that say what you want to hear, which is bottoms in, we're going up. Whenever the market's down on the news, they bring in people that say what you want to hear, which is down only. But it's always somewhere in the middle. You got to have a realistic view and a balanced view where, okay, we're seeing a rally here. We could see continuation off this, but it is a recession and inflation has not been tamed. And until then, it's quite possible that we see lower prices. Remember, the average recession is 650 days. We calculated that in the last video. Let's just go a little easier on the market here and say we'll give it 500 days. Where would 500 days, again, we measured from top to bottom, 500 days would land us at May, I believe, May or June of next year. May or June of 2023 is the low end of the recession average length. So, May of next year, let's just mark up a vertical line along that area. May, June next year, somewhere like this. Well, it's likely that, in the meantime, we could see some sustained upside, but we'll probably end up breaking the 200-week, the recession threshold. I think it's important to consider how just a little bit ago, back here in August, the S&P was only 10% below the all-time high. And on this bounce, the market actually was pricing in a Fed pivot. The market was set up for a Fed pivot and continuation. But the Fed came out and said, listen, we got to keep going with these rate hikes. Inflation is not under control. And they said we would rather cause a recession to tame inflation than to not tame inflation at all. The priority list of the Fed is tame inflation, tame inflation. They have to tame inflation, right? So then that became obvious, market dumps. And so in this pullback here from end of August to where we are now, this is pretty much the move that really told people, hey, listen, we're in a recession. This is really a recession. And it only settled in then. And just from my experience and just being realistic about it, is it likely that we see one dip, everyone realize, oh, it's really a recession, and then we just kind of bottom out and we're good to go? I don't think so. I could be wrong about that. But I think it's likely that we probably continue lower, below the 200-week, the recession threshold. So yeah, we can see sustained upside for a period, because in every major recession, what we're doing is we're extending away from the macro trend line and extending away, getting that downside pressure. So I would definitely be skeptical of any bounce, though I do think that Bitcoin can bounce from here. And we're near a major macro pivot here, this major resistance. And if Bitcoin breaks above the previous wick high at 20,000 on the daily here, looking at the daily chart, 20,385. If we start to break above this and close dailies above 20,385, that is, coinciding with the year-long downward sloping resistance line. And so above 20,385, I see continuation, guys. I would see continuation up. And how high will we go? That's to be determined. But what I'm going to be doing is looking at the stock market to tell me when to start de-risking again. Because, I do have some longs open. I made posts in my Discord, Patreon Discord. I posted on Twitter. I was talking about this Chainlink long that I took. 10,000 Chainlink. And yeah, I am using leverage. I raised my stops into the profit zone. But I do have a 10,000 Chainlink long. And I think that, coins like Chainlink that are oversold could be a pretty good play in a recession rally, right? These altcoins that are really fundamental, they're very well integrated into the crypto space, like Chainlink, one of the top projects of all. It's oversold right now. So if we see some kind of recession rally, we could see some violent upside before, topping out and going lower again. So it's important that if you are going to be longing this, if you're a long-term player, then just forget about all the little swings. But if you're, being a degen like me right now and you're taking leverage longs, you definitely want to be looking for some profit zones, right? You want to be looking to get out at the proper areas. By the way, if you guys want to trade on BitGet, you can use my link below. There are rewards. There's 90 slots left for a deposit bonus, free $10, trading rewards, whatever. Link below. I am looking at fibs. Again, this is kind of a pipe dream right now that Chainlink would just break out. But again, I'm looking for a major pivot for Bitcoin. And that's kind of what I'm setting up for. If Bitcoin pops up above this resistance, for a month or two before possibly even going lower later, guys, remember it's a recession. Well, I want to capture some value. I want to, look for test to the high, maybe take out my initials there. And more realistically, $11.56 would be sort of a short-term recession rally ideal target. I kind of just have my profits target set a little higher right now. I mean, honestly, I should probably just take this one up here and bring it down to the 950 level, just so I can have some profits on a test of resistance. But just wanted to show you this trade. We did talk about this on Twitter and in my Patreon, Discord channel, and on, everywhere. So we were getting in at 724. But, you know, just setting up for a possible bounce. Again, it's only a trade. It's not like I think this is the bottom and I'm going to go all in and just hope it's the bottom. Again, recessions last a long time. You know, we could be bouncing to the macro trend line, sure. That's what I'm setting up for. But I think we're ultimately going to be breaking down into 2023, finding a bottom somewhere in the middle of 2023. But that's all just current expectations. That's just what I think is realistic. Anything can change. Anything can happen. It can get better. It can get worse. The recession could get better. It could get worse, right? We don't know. We'll play it by ear. But I do think that there is opportunity right now for some longs to profit. So we'll see. Waiting for this Bitcoin breakout again. 20,385. This huge wick on the daily. There's a lot of people in there that have shorts, guys. A lot of short positions stuck in that wick, right? So if we break above 20,385, it's going to squeeze this entire wick will be squeezed out. And it usually squeezes out to 1 to 1.5. So if you were going to trade this breakout, you'd be looking for, you know, a move to like 21,700 at least, which would mean a break above the resistance, which would mean possible continuation at some point to higher levels before the S&P tops out and, you know, curls over again, which I think is likely. And at that point, we'd be looking for Bitcoin to curl over as well. So again, it's only the bounce is transitory. The bounce will be transitory. I don't think it'll last like all that long. Could be a couple months at best, but anything can change. And if it does, I'll come back on the channel, let you guys know. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash the like, subscribe to this channel. Use that BitGet link below if you guys want to trade on BitGet. There are rewards in that link below. Remember, leverage is very difficult. It's not as easy as it looks. You're gonna lose money when you lose. You're gonna lose money when you use leverage. You're going to. You're just going to. Right? It's not as easy as it looks. So you're gonna be really careful. Cut your losses very quickly. Whatever. You guys know that it's risky. It's very risky, and you can lose everything you put in. So just be careful. But that's it, guys. I'll talk to you soon.